Good morning, everyone. It is hump day, woo woo, Wednesday, December 29th, and we're looking at red futures here after putting in a little bit of a doji candle here right at the top of this pretty large stick here in the ES. Now, yesterday we were talking, or I guess I was talking, and I was talking about this candle here. I like when we have a big candle like this, and then we have a little red candle kind of sitting next to it. Would have liked it to be a little bit lower into that candle bar, but typically, or I shouldn't say typically, but a lot of times what happens here is that we come in the next day, maybe push down a little bit and then push back up. So we'll kind of watch that, see if we get that kind of pattern here. We had really low volume yesterday, and if you look inside yesterday's action, oh, wrong one. Wait, here we go. Right? Wow, it was a real barn burner. No, not at all. It really was boring. And if you looked at our VIX from yesterday, not a lot of action here. I mean, that's not even a dollar's worth of a move here, top to bottom. It looks pretty crazy on this chart, but if you scale it out a little bit better, not a lot of action in the VIX either. Our ticks stayed pretty neutral most of the day, and that was just kind of let us know that there was not a lot moving, right? So even though we had a low tick reading right there at the end, a mediocre high tick reading here, as we went into the afternoon, for the most part, we stayed pretty quiet most of the day, and trying to catch momentum plays was a little bit more difficult. We saw Apple edge really close to that 182 mark and fell right back away, back into its opening range. A lot of charts did this. A lot of charts kind of took a move and then said, never mind, I'm going to hang out here in the safe zone. So we're looking today for maybe a little bit more volatility as we head into the end of the year. Don't forget, heading into the end of the year, there is going to be a lot of jockeying, and then right after the first of the year, because your hedge funds have to figure out, well, what looks best in the portfolio here for the end of the year, and where are we going to then sell. So right after the first of the year is probably where that will come in. So a lot of jockeying around here at the end of the year. Don't forget, we'll also have sales for tax purposes, getting it in before the tax year. So we'll see all of that kind of come in here in the next day or so. And Friday, I would suspect, is going to be very, very quiet. Friday, I'll be here in the morning, but then I'm going to take off and kind of watch football. I'm a football girl, and Lexi loves football. So we are all going to be watching football here on Friday afternoon, so I will disappear for that. But let's hop back into some things that are working, and these are names that you've seen before, just kind of waiting for them to play out. I'm going to start right here with Nucor. Really like this chart. So I like this on the bump up. Missed a bid to get in here. So I'm going to go ahead and redraw this line. Okay, and now make our fishtail. I don't know why, to me it looks like a fishtail. Apparently not everybody believes that it looks like a fishtail, but to me this looks like the tail, and this is the big part of the fish. So anyway, okay, fishtail here, looking for a break of that trend line. Nice squeeze of our moving averages, although not technically in a TTM squeeze, but pretty darn close to it. But very nice here. Like the look of this. The basic sector has done fairly well over the last several sessions. So we're going to keep an eye on this. And I don't like any of the ones in February, so I have to push these out to April. Now, if you want to play the lower volume ones in February or the higher volume ones in January, that's your call. But I like the 115s, and I like those ones out in April. So that's my first pick for today is Nucor. Okay, yesterday we were watching FDX. Well, this morning I'm going to flip this over and say, you know what, UPS kind of lagging behind just a little bit here. I like UPS this morning. Moving stuff, there's a couple of charts actually I really like in the more logistics and moving sector, but this one has really decent options. And we put in this, not quite an inside candle, but several days up, took a nice little break, looking for a move above yesterday's close. I like the UPS 220s on this one. So UPS 220s. And you might even say it kind of has an inverse head and shoulder look. I don't know. But definitely UPS with all of the shipping and buying that we are still continuing to do here. It is a good one to be in. All right, switching sectors completely, Abbott Labs popped up. Now, the healthcare sector, there's a lot of rotation out of healthcare yesterday, kind of more into the basic materials and things like that. But Abbott Labs, nice move up, put in an inside candle, looking for this, just a bounce off the 3. There's been a lot of news around Abbott. And a lot of the drug companies, although you have to be pretty specific, they've just been doing pretty well here, and I like the look of this. It tends to have this, you know, we take a nice move up, we take a pause, move up, a little bit of a pause. So keep an eye on it. It's not super exciting. We had a great trade in ABBV, but so these drug companies, when they do get a nice little move, it's pretty exciting to be a part of that. In Abbott, I like the February 140s. The ones for UPS, those also were February 18, 220s. So then, bringing up the rear of the list, pretty small list. There were a couple I did like that I'll go over that didn't have options, so we'll go over those. Like the look and lift. So this thing, right, it's had the snot just beat out of it. This and Uber, they've really had a hard time gaining some good traction here. But you can see we put in this beautiful reversal, came up, taking a little bit of a break, and one might make the, here I'm going to draw this out. So I'm trying to remember to draw these patterns for people who don't necessarily know what they are, but a bit of a bull flag potential, right? So we don't know if this is now just going to go right back down or go back up with this little pause on lower volume. It does tend to indicate a bit more bullish of a
TAYD, Taylor Devices.
Bit more bullish of a pattern here. We'll see if we can get up and get through that 50. So I'm going to look to play this up out of the 50. I like this above 40, 420. So that'll give us a little bit of room to this triple top that we have right here. Look for the push to the 50. If it can push up, hit that 50 and kind of move on, I'll go ahead and hang in there for a little bit, but lift looks pretty good. Uber is another one that you might want to take a look at. It too, right? So it is actually above the 50, pushed up, another what is looking like a potential bull flag after this nice little W bottom, and we're holding the 50. So both of these look really good. For lift, I like the look of the 45s, and for Uber, I like the 45s as well. So both of those, the February 45s, very similar patterns, and the only difference being that Uber is below its 50, so maybe not quite as much room, but nice support here. You could use that 50 as a stop, and lift just under the 50, so we're looking for a move up to and through the 50. So both those look pretty darn good. Yesterday, Starbucks, really pretty move here. Pull back just a little bit. We'll see. It looks like we might get just a little bit more of a push. I did see some news about Starbucks. They were talking about how their profit margins are actually pretty small, which is hard to believe when you pay $5 for a cup of coffee or $6. But that they could also they could increase their profit margin, increase their prices just a little bit, and it would be absorbed without a lot of pushback or a lot of fall off in sales. So maybe they're looking at doing that. I don't know. But overall, they still have really good foot traffic, especially as their stores open up more and more. I can tell you that's true, because the two Starbucks that we get to go to, holy cow, if you can't do order ahead, you might as well just forget it, because they're always so busy. But anyway, so Starbucks, maybe look for a little bit of a pop here. And hit this resistance around 117 or so, but I really now like it up over. So we have this gap that was back here, and we didn't quite fill it. So I like it really more into the gap. So maybe around 1730, 1740 area. So we'll keep an eye on Starbucks, see if it gives us another play, or if it turns into a shorter term bear look. If we go through the yesterday's and then come back down, that would be a reversal here to the downside. And then the last one I'm going to talk about, LRCX. Terrible option chains. Oh my gosh, they're so terrible, and this is really expensive. But another one that I want to take a look at here, right? Big move up, took a little break here. We'll see. This candle's a little bit bigger than what I would like to see for now the push back to the top side. Those, when you find those that have the little candle like our SPY does, a lot of times that acts as a little bit of a powder keg. But LRCX was one that we have been watching. And in the chip sector, LRCX is really, I think, a very good play, especially if you're looking to invest a little bit more long term. We saw a lot of the chips pop yesterday and then give it right back. So kind of watching these AMD, right? So kind of a little bit similar of a look, right? We came back, but now we need to look for a rotation back into technology, and that's not happening here as of yet this morning. So we'll watch for any moves in that. And Apple staying just below that 180 mark. Every time it gets right around that 180 within a bit, it really just gets smacked right back down. So still watching it. I do have a position in Apple that I took. It's down 6% as of the close. It's a February one, so I'll watch if Apple doesn't quickly fix itself here this morning. I'll step aside and then come back in for that play to the 182. I did put in a contingent order, so if it gets to that 182.86, my call will mark it out. And if you want to know how to do that, let me know. Shoot me an email, heatherc@givingtreetrading.com. I did put a screenshot of what it looks like in E-Trade there in the trading feed so that you know what I have going on. It's not a set price. It is set as a contingent sell. Okay, if you have any questions, be sure to reach out, and I hope to see you soon in the chat room. Enjoy the last few days of this holiday week, and next year we will really get back at it and be a bit more aggressive, see what the market can give us. All right, I will talk to you soon.